Switching gears now, Texas Democrat Maureen Galindo is facing backlash for pledging to imprison, quote, American Zionists at ICE facilities. Let's bring in House Majority Whip Tom Emmer from Minnesota. Congressman, I just couldn't believe that this wasn't hyperbole that we were hearing about from the right. But then I looked at this posting from Maureen for Congress, which was clearly Maureen Galindo, in which she says, and we can put it up on the board, she's going to turn Karnes ICE detention center into a prison for American Zionists, shorthand for Jews, and former ICE officers for human trafficking. And then in parentheses, it will also be a castration processing center for pedophiles, which will probably be most of the Zionists. I mean, this is essentially concentration camps for Jews and ICE agents. I thought we fought a world war to end that kind of stuff.
Yeah, David, good to be with you, but this is a topic that seems to keep coming up with our friends on the left. You look at Virginia. They elected an attorney general last November who fantasized about assassinating not only his opponent, but his opponent's wife and children. Yeah. And now you got this gal down in Texas. She is certifiably insane. Some people are committed to the cause. This gal should just be committed. This is something that we should reject outright as Americans. It has nothing to do with Republican or Democrat. This has to do with nothing more than just stupid, ignorant, and frankly, she's got some mental health issues.
But when you think of the mouthpieces that they have, people like Hassan, what's his name? The Islamist that is a friend of Mamdani's, and Piker is his last name. I mean, you know, these people are saying very much the same thing. So they have their own little echo chamber. Some of them do get elected. I mean, we also have, of course, up in Maine, Mr. Plattner, who has the Nazi tattoo on his chest and is an outright communist. I'm just wondering, first of all, have any Jewish members of Congress that you know spoken out about this? I haven't heard a word from Senator Schumer about her comments calling for concentration camps. I haven't heard from any other Democratic Jews talking about the fact that he is literally using, or she and Plattner are literally using the language of the Nazi Party.
Yeah, I had this conversation about this crazy, insane candidate in Texas with a Jewish member, Democrat member from New Jersey just about an hour ago. And let me tell you, he made the statement to me that if somehow she found her way to Congress, that he would make the motion to kick her out every single day she's here. And the Plattner guy that you're talking about up in Maine, yeah. I mean, this guy thinks he's going to mainstream himself now, David. It's right. Not going to happen. Here's the good news. The vast majority of this country, the vast majority are common sense Americans. Common sense Americans see through this stuff. These people who think they can run as extreme radicals and that they're somehow going to change after they make these types of statements on the campaign trail, somehow some of them do find their way through the process. We've got some Marxists serving here in Congress right now. Yep. But the vast majority see through this. And I think Americans are waking up to this kind of stuff. I think it's going to show at the ballot box come November.
Well, I still think they have the major force of the Democratic Party right now is from this extreme left. The good news is not only are there Republicans and Democrats, but the biggest party are the independents. And I don't think the independents are going there. Do you?
No, I mean, that's the whole point. 80% of this country, and I'm just pulling a number out of the air, they don't wear a partisan jersey year-round like some of us, right? They are out there right now trying to pay a mortgage, put food on the table, clothes on the kids. They're thinking about a great family vacation this summer. They will get active come the fall. You're right. They call themselves independents, but they lean right or they lean left. This kind of nonsense, they will not put up with. They will speak come November, and I'm confident that they're going to reject this type of hatred, this type of extremism, this type of anti-Semitism. I mean, when did we get this in this country? You're right. There was a world war fought in many respects about this very topic. We don't believe in that here in America, and we need to stand up for the rule of law around here.
No, many thousand Americans died fighting against that kind of rhetoric, and to see it spring up in our body politic is really, really disgusting. There's also a lot of general discuss about fraud, and you and I have talked about it before. Unfortunately, your state, Minnesota, has become sort of the poster child for fraud, but now you have this task force. The vice president is really keen on it. I just want to play a soundbite of him, get your reaction to it. Roll that tape.
I think it's a great thing about our country is that we have this generosity of spirit where we take care of one another, but fraud takes that away from us because it steals money from the taxpayer when they pay their taxes.
It is not isolated. We're not just talking about a couple of $100 million, even though that's a lot of money. We're talking about billions and billions, maybe as much. I've even heard somebody say when you add it all together, it could add up to $1 trillion of our annual federal revenue. I mean, this is something that you guys can campaign on in the midterms, no?
Oh, absolutely. And I think we already are. This is what DOGE was all about when it started.
Yeah.
Waste, fraud, and abuse. You're right. Minnesota is the poster child. 5.7 million people. There are some estimates that the fraud that was stolen from Minnesota taxpayers under Tim Walz's incompetence and, frankly, maybe complicit behavior could be as high as $9 billion, David. But it's not just Minnesota. Go to California, where you got 40 million people,
right,
and you've got all kinds of fraud going on. Go to Ohio. It's not confined, by the way, to just blue states. You will find it in other states. It is federal tax dollars being stolen and all kinds of different schemes, and it's high time that we address it. It could be $1 trillion on an annual basis. Imagine what that would do to Americans. By the way, it doesn't matter, again, about the politics. One thing that Americans agree on, American taxpayers, they don't like to be lied to and they don't like to be ripped off. This is absolutely a great campaign message that Republicans and Donald Trump are going to continue with J.D. Vance, our great vice president, to clean this mess up so that these benefits that we're putting out there, David, they go to the people that they're intended for, to the single moms with disabled kids, to seniors, to the people that count on these funds, as opposed to the fraudsters like in my state.
And you don't only use it for that purpose, but you dry a lot of it up, and therefore you come out with a new reconciliation bill that can put a negative number in instead of more and more and more government money, and maybe you can get another reconciliation bill. Quick final thought on that.
Well, I totally agree on that, and now's the time to get it done. But let's add one more piece. We got to start holding people in positions of authority accountable for this fraud, David.
Yes.
That's the other thing my people at home are saying. When are you going to hold Ilhan Omar accountable? When are you going to hold Tim Walz accountable? When are you going to hold our Attorney General accountable and responsible for all the fraud that has happened under their watch? I think that's as big an issue for November as the waste, fraud, and abuse itself.
Yeah, we got to have you back to talk about Ilhan Omar. I mean, this is just this stuff of her money going from zero to millions and then back down to zero is quite extraordinary. We'll have to ask you that another time, though. Majority Whip Tom Emmer, great to see you. Thank you very much for being here.